Hello and welcome back to White Lines Football. Lewis again here today on this Monday evening, Monday afternoon, whatever you want to call it, and I am back for the next episode of Lewis's Lounge. The light is going to go really funny because the window's right there, but it's too hot, so I'm sitting right here. So, obviously, you've seen the title of this video. The World Cup is long gone. Obviously, the Football League season starting now, Premier League season starts this weekend. But also, by the way, there will actually be the podcast at some point talking about England's brilliant journey in the World Cup in general, the best World Cup of my lifetime. But I was thinking about England and where they go from here. I just thought I'd talk a little bit about England's system. You know, the system Southgate played. He obviously had his very preferred 11 that he went with for every game that mattered as such. Obviously he didn't for the Belgian game and well, both Belgian games really, but apart from that, he went with a pretty obvious side, and I just wanted to touch on that and talk a little bit about how Southgate wanted to set up his team and what the aims were with his team and each individual player mainly, and what their role was in Gareth Southgate's setup. So obviously, you know, Southgate went with the 3-5-2 with the one defensive midfielder and then the two going forward. We'll start in defence. Jordan Pickford was in goal. He was the hero of the Colombia game, obviously winning us that penalty shootout. Had a brilliant tournament, apart from maybe a couple of bits in the group stage, but I think he's well established himself as England's number one now. Obviously got the nod ahead of Jack Butland and Nick Pope, who have had awful returns to club football. Nick Pope's got a pretty serious injury, and Jack Butland's playing the Championship for Stoke, making an error on his return to club action against Leeds. But yeah, Pickford obviously not in action yet. He's been at Everton. They haven't started their season yet, but he was really important in England's setup. Obviously, you're going to go with the best goalkeeper, but I think Pickford had a number of brilliant attributes. I think he was a great shot stopper, first of all. Obviously, we saw his save from that really, really long shot. We saw his penalty saves, etc., etc. We know he's a really good goalkeeper, but I think a big part of what Pickford brought to the team was his distribution. We know he's a very good a ball-playing goalkeeper. We know that's a big that's important for an important role for a goalkeeper to have these days. You look at like some Alisson, Edison, Manuel Neuer, etc., etc. It's a very important thing, and Southgate obviously likes to play out from the back. We saw that from the tournament, and Pickford was good at that. He was good at pinging those sort of long balls as well into the channels or playing it short. Either way, his distribution was key. Jack Butland's was probably as a serious competitor. His distribution wasn't necessarily as great, but Pickford obviously got the nod and he was in goal. So move on to the back three. Kyle Walker played right centre back. Obviously plays his club football at right back / right wing back, but he was preferred at right centre back by Gareth Southgate. And I think I know it's a very stereotypical thing to say, but his pace at right wing back was really, really key for England. I think his positioning was questionable a lot of the time, but his pace helped him recover. I saw that on a number of occasions when maybe the playing out the back didn't come off when he got caught out, but his pace helped him recover a lot, and I think that was important for him at right centre back. And he was strong and he was good in the air as well. He wasn't targeted by teams. You know, normally if a fullback's playing centre back, you just like associate them with being weak in the air, maybe target them with a long ball, etc. But Kyle Walker, Pickford playing right centre back. Kyle Walker playing right centre back. He was good in the air. He was strong. His pace was an asset. I don't think he let himself down at all in that England setup. In the middle of the back three was probably the most important player there in the defence was John Stones. He's obviously Kyle Walker's Manchester City teammate. At that level, obviously associate the middle centre back, the one that's going to step out with the ball. At the lower levels, it's maybe the ones to the sides. You know, the right centre back and the left centre back. At the lower levels, you see it in League One quite a lot. Are going to be the ones to sort of go forward as a half fullback or as such, and the centre back is normally protected. But at this level, centre back likes to step out, and that was John Stones in England's team. He was able to step into midfield a lot. We saw him going up quite a lot. He rotated with Henderson. Henderson sometimes dropping deep into that centre back role when England had the ball. And obviously we saw him get his 2 goals as well in the tournament, but it was really key. We know he's really transitioning under Pep Guardiola and Southgate as well, stepping into midfield. He could easily play as a midfielder, but he's good in that defensive role. He was a leader, and obviously his role for England was to bring it out at the back, really. Third centre back, there was a lot of talk about it in the tournament, but I think Harry Maguire more than justified his selection there. I think he's a sort of physical centre back, so you've obviously got the fast centre back, the ball playing centre back, and the physical centre back. It's not as simple as that, but they're what you'd associate the 3 players as. And Harry Maguire was the physical centre back. We saw him get his goal against Sweden. He's been nicknamed a slabhead or something like that. But he was really good on the ball as well. He impressed, and he's also been linked to Manchester United. He rotated well with the other centre-halves. And I think he was England's breakthrough player, really. He's become a national icon as such. Obviously, been seeing our beef and stuff like that after the World Cup, but he more than justified his selection on that left side. I think at the start of the tournament, it looked a little bit awkward, but he more than came into it and he was comfortable on the ball, both left and right foot. And he finished off that back three. Right wing back, Kieran Trippier. I think he was England's player of the tournament, in my opinion. Obviously got that goal against Croatia. He was on free kicks for the whole tournament and he was awful. Then he got that goal against Croatia in the semi-final, but came to nothing in the end. I think the main reason for Trippier, as good as he is going backwards, I think his crossing was absolutely essential, whether it's a free kick, corner or in play. His crossing was absolutely brilliant, and his preferred to Kyle Walker at that right wing back role. Southgate managed to get them both in the team, and he was getting forward, and his crosses was absolutely essential. You think of the amount of goals England scored from headers and for corners and free kicks. You know, Trippier was the key to that, and the guy on the other side as well, moved straight onto him, Ashley Young. He can defend, obviously naturally a winger though, so he can go forward. His work ethic was insane. He was preferred to Danny Rose. Obviously he's right-footed, and I think that's why he was there for his crossing. We saw him cutting in a lot, putting a ball in. He's a bit less direct than Danny Rose. Danny Rose obviously left-footed, likes to get in the inside and less renowned for his crossing as such, but we also saw Rose coming close to scoring against Colombia when he came on, and Rose is a lot more direct. But Ashley Young, all the time we saw him cutting in, getting those crosses in. He was on free kicks and corners as well. And yeah, Ashley Young. Trippier, I'm not a fan of Ashley Young for a number of reasons. Not one to note when he dived at Priestfield a while back against Aston Villa and the way Ashley Young plays his game. But I think he did well. I don't think he'll necessarily be in England's set-up for too long. He's obviously getting on a bit. Same as Manchester United, but he did a good job at the World Cup, and he did probably justify his selection over Danny Rose, because of big calls for Danny Rose. There weren't even many calls for Young to be in the squad at the start, but yeah, Young did well. He's got the work ethic going backwards. He could defend, maybe a bit awkward considering he was right-footed, meaning England didn't have a left footer on the pitch. But yeah, he cut in a lot and put the crosses in, and at the end of the day, that was England's main way they got their goals. The guy sitting at the bottom of the three in midfield that I spoke about was, of course, Jordan Henderson. A lot of questions about him going into the tournament. I think he's a bit of a scapegoat for general football fans. People would prefer Eric Dyer over him, including myself. But I think Henderson was arguably England's best three players in the tournament as well. Despite missing the penalty against Colombia, I think his ability on the ball was key. Like I said, he swapped with John Stones a lot when on the ball, going into centre-back. But he's improved defensively a lot. You know, when he was at Liverpool playing at the bottom of that three, the same way he played for England in Jurgen Klopp's system, there was a lot of criticism of him, not giving enough protection to the defence, etc. But he was really good on the ball. His ability to move around the ball around the pitch is important. You know, he could pick up the ball, he could turn and give it the other side quickly, and Eric Dyer probably wouldn't have done that. Eric Dyer's probably more of a protective player, but we saw Jordan Henderson putting his body on the line numerous occasions. There's that video of him screaming after blocking the ball. Can't remember who that was against, but there's a video of him doing it, and yeah, he's obviously a leader as well. Not that Eric Dyer wasn't, but Henderson, brilliant on the ball. You know, did everything a defensive midfield needed to do, and I think he goes back to Liverpool with a lot more Liverpool fans feeling a lot more confident with him in the side, where he's getting on the ball, he's protecting the defence, which allowed the two guys in front of him a bit more freedom. You'd have hoped so anyway, you know, Dele Alli and Jesse Lingard. So Dele Alli's playing a lot more deeper than he plays for Tottenham. Tottenham he plays more as a second striker almost. Here he's playing centre midfield for England. But he knows when to get forward. You know, he got the goal, didn't he, against Sweden. His creativity has improved a lot. He got a lot more assists last season than the season before. But his creativity has improved a lot, and I think that's essential. Rather than just playing second striker, he's able to get on the ball and provide assists, and that's what Southgate really wanted him to do. Same as Lingard, really. I'll move straight on to him, but I think obviously Lingard's ability to shoot from long distance was key. We saw the goal against Panama. He tried it a few more times against other teams as well. But those sort of like looking to play the 1-2s maybe a bit too often sometimes, but that's what they're trying to do, trying to get in there. Henderson was giving them a licence to get forward. I think maybe they should have done it a bit more. I think there was a big gap between the strikers and the defenders, the strikers and midfielders, and Lingard and Ali maybe could have provided a bit more of a link, but they had to do the job in that midfield. They had to be centre midfielders as well as attacking midfielders, because otherwise they only had Henderson for cover, and that's what they had to do, especially against big sides like Croatia, where their midfielders are going to get dominated, really. You'd associate that. But Ali and Lingard were there to do that job. And then we've got the two strikers, Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane. So there were obviously talks of Sterling being dropped. But I think with him, there were a lot of balls into channels that he was trying to run onto. I think he probably should have got a few goals, and it was disappointing that he didn't score. But he wanted to get in the channels and pull the ball back. You know, he wanted to link up with Trippier. He was getting down the right quite a lot. Could have gone off to either side, supposedly playing off Kane, but he went over to the right most of the time with Trippier. And he get in behind, his pace was key. He went one-on-one quite a few times and didn't provide, which was very frustrating. But I think his role was very important, his movement. You know, getting on the ball, it's a lot more than just getting on the ball and what you do. And Sterling did that. And I think with Harry Kane, rather than Sterling playing off Kane like it was supposedly supposed to be, like football fans were saying, I think Harry Kane was playing off Sterling. I think he definitely had an injury. Well, it's not been spoke about actually. I thought it might come out after the Colombia game because he was awful after that. But he was coming so deep, so deep. You saw him going close to John Stones, just see him moving into Henderson's position. You're thinking, what are you doing? You're a goal scorer. But it's going deep. We know how good he is on the ball. And it allowed the likes of Ali, Lingard and Sterling to run past him. So Kane and Sterling's link-up was key. And obviously Harry Kane came away with the World Cup golden boot. I think his hold-up play was important to allow England to get up the pitch because England were a lot more direct than you'd normally associate the football in this day and age with the pass and move. But yeah, Kane was coming deep. Obviously got the goal, the penalties, the headers and the physicality was key because he was putting those headers in of all the goals England got. The likes of John Stones obviously doing that as well. But Sterling and Kane did well. They complemented each other. If Harry Kane was going deep and Sterling was running, and then Lingard and Ali were going as well. Sterling was moving into the channels and Kane was coming for the drag back, and Ali and Lingard are going forward as well. I think Ali and Lingard probably, like I said, should have provided a bit more support. But that's the way it was, you know. England 3-5-2. It was a good system. I do like it. It's probably the way it's going to go forward. I don't know if the same personnel will be that way, but that's the way Southgate went, and it got us to a World Cup semi-final. Best in my lifetime, and we came 4th place at the end of the day, and that's cracking. So that is my attempt at explaining Gareth Southgate's system. If you want to add anything to it or comment on it, please do comment down below or tweet me at LRC Browning on Twitter or at WhiteLinesMedia. Please remember to follow all of our channel partners and all of the stuff in the description, all of the other channels, all the social medias. We've got a Facebook group as well now. I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. The World Cup's done, but the football season's here. Come on, England. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.